everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of my ReadORama Round 14 reading vlog. Say that 5 times fast. So I have never participated in ReadORama before and I'm so excited to do it this time. The challenges are so fun. I just have good books picked out. I'm so excited. So I will link my TBR down below. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I do think I'm going to switch 1 or 2 books just because there's another readathon coming up, so I need to move some stuff around. But that's neither here nor there. So the first book I picked up was my yellow book, which is The Things We Do for Love by Kristin. Try to get that somewhere where the glare is not terrible. But this one is a dual perspective story told from the perspective of a woman who her and her husband are struggling with fertility to the point that it breaks up their marriage. That's in the first chapter, so you know that right away. And so she gets divorced and has to go back to her hometown. And then the other perspective is from a girl whose mother is an alcoholic and she just has a very rough life. She's, I think, like 17 maybe, and her mom is like not working, not doing anything to support their family, and it's just a rough situation for her. So she lives in the small town where our other main character is going home. So the two of them, I think, are going to meet up, and it's just a perfect pairing. A woman who just has a mama's heart and needs to mother something, and then a young girl who needs a mom. So hopefully the two of them pair up in some way, shape, or form, and it's a great story. But like I said, I'm already emotionally invested in both of them, and I'm 5 chapters in, and so I just love this. Kristin can do no wrong in my opinion. So today is Sunday, May 17th. It's already like 4:30 because I had to finish another book this morning, and then we have just kind of had a busy day of doing stuff. Yesterday was my birthday, and we still are just kind of doing the relaxing family weekend thing, making it a birthday weekend, and so that's what we've been doing today. Not really anything. It is beautiful out. The sun is actually shining. So my husband just took my daughter out to the swings. I think I'm going to go out there soon and play for a little bit. And then tonight is a thing we do called Sabbath Snacks. Wow, the sun just went behind a cloud, so I better hurry. Called Sabbath Snacks, where we just have snacks and watch The Masked Singer and hang out. So that's the plan for the rest of the evening. I will check in when I have more to say about this. Hey everyone, it's Monday, and today I'm just getting on to update really quick because I am about halfway through The Things We Do for Love by Kristin, and so far I'm still really liking this. Note to self, maybe next time don't pick an almost 500-page book for a readathon, because this one I'm like halfway through, but I still have like 250 pages left. So this one is moving a little bit slow, but just because I have not had the time, not because I'm not interested, because I'm still really liking it. Like I said before, it's a story of a woman who is back in her hometown after a divorce, and her and her husband split up because of their fertility issues. And it's like, is the love really gone? I don't know. And then the girl, her mother is just not a mother to her at all. She's had a boyfriend for like 4 years, so it's their story, and the two people have obviously connected, and it's just so great. So really enjoying that. Yesterday, I went through all of my shelves because Bree from Bree Hill and I have been talking about like Debbie McComer's Cedar Cove series and Rose Harbor Inn and those kind of things, and she's gonna, I think, marathon one of those or both of those or something. And so it got me thinking, like, I wanted to look through my shelves and see what I have and what I don't have. And so I made a whole list of like all the series I have partials of. So like Debbie McComer's Cedar Cove, Rose Harbor Inn, Blossom Street, and then like Lindsay Kelk's I Heart series. I have bits and bobs of. I've just got some of everything from everywhere. And so I made a whole list of ones that I want to keep my eye out for. Our local bookshop has a good used section, but they right now are not doing like in-store things, and I think they might look in the used section for you, but I have like over $100 of credit there from just donating books, and so they're not taking credit right now. So I'm gonna have to wait. I looked on Amazon, eBay, etc., and like to get them on eBay, you have to buy like a whole lot, and I don't want a whole lot. I just want the ones I want. And so to get them each, they're like $6 to $8 to $10 on Amazon or Thrift Books or anything like that. And I don't want to spend that much either, especially when I know I can get them in a used situation somewhere. So I'm going to keep my eye out for all of those. And I have read all of the Cedar Cove series, and then the Rose Harbor Inn, like buddies off of that, but it's been so many years that I kind of want to read them all again. So I don't know if I'll ever do that, but having them on my shelf, like Sarah from Steeped in Books says, like, I am a reader and a collector. Like, I've been collecting the Babysitters Club books forever, and now I have the first 100 and something. And I don't know if my daughter and I will ever read them. I really hope so. I don't know if we'll read all 100 or whatever, but it just makes me happy to have like the full collection. And the same with like these Debbie Macomber series. I may reread them once or twice, but I just love having them all. And I don't know what that says about me, but I just really like that. So yeah, I did that yesterday, and then last night I was reading, and then I was like, okay, well, my eyes are getting tired. I am gonna go to sleep. So typically, what I do is like I'll turn on either like a really long YouTube video, like a live stream of something, or I'll turn something on Netflix or something, just because I like background noise, especially because my husband normally stays up later than I do, so I can hear him downstairs, and I just like to have like some background noise, and so I'll turn something on. Well, last night I opened Netflix and I turned on Becoming by Michelle Obama. Worst thing I ever could have done, because it was so good. Like, so it's like an hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes or something. And I watched over half of it. And then I was like, okay, I've got to shut this off because the morning is going to come way too early. So I loved it. I can't wait to finish it. If you guys haven't read the book, for me, I think that might be one of my favorite memoirs of all time. I just love her. I love what she did for our kids in the country. I just miss her so much as a first lady. I adore that lady. So just what I saw of the documentary thing was just like, she's just so wonderful. I just can talk about her for days and days, and I don't even know her, and I just love her. But so if you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend that. That's everything for today. Or for right now. So I'm going to try to finish this for sure by nap time, or like at the end of nap time, and then I don't know what I'll pick up next, but I will check in later. Hey everyone, so it's about 6:30 and I'm sitting on the couch doing what my husband calls the post-dinner recovery because right now, like, the baby has not dropped, and so eating is just so miserably uncomfortable that I get really uncomfortable and nauseous, and like just laying back is really the only position that is comfortable after eating. So I typically retreat to the couch for a little bit. So they are outside watering. We planted grass a while ago. I might have talked about it. And so it has to be watered every day. And he takes her, and like there's not that much grass to water, but when he takes her, it's like an hour because just lots of shiny things to get distracted by out there. So I just finished The Things We Do for Love by Kristin Hannah, and I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it 4 stars. I think Kristin Hannah is one of those authors who toes the line between romance and women's fiction really well. And this one, I mean, I would say it's more women's fiction, but there is a romance that happens within it. And there's also a very interesting and good balance, I think, of grief and hope in this book. And I don't really want to say a whole lot more than what I've already said about this book, because I just don't want to get into any spoilers. And I think it's more impactful if you go in not knowing a whole lot. And so I just love found family, and this book was huge on found family. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I did think it could have been a little bit shorter. It was like 450, 460 pages, and that's just a lot. But I definitely describe this book more as hopeful than happy ending. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And then I picked up Unglued by Lisa Turkurst, and that's on audio. And that one is about, like, it's a Christian nonfiction about how we deal with emotions, basically. Are you an exploder or a stuffer? And she even talks about, like, within that, 2 different types of exploders, like exploders who take it out on themselves and exploders who take it out on other people. And then the stuffers, I can't remember, the stuffer that, like, collects like retaliation points, and then one other kind of stuffer. And she says she can identify with all 4 types depending on who she's talking about or what the conflict is. And I think I can too. And it's very interesting because she talks about, like, she lays it out and then she goes into detail about each of the 4 types of dealing with big emotions, and specifically like anger and frustration. And so I am definitely more of a stuffer. I'm not very explosive. I'm not very outwardly emotional about a lot of things. And
So I just think this will be really interesting because then stuff does build up and then eventually become an exploder. And so I think this one will be really helpful. It's a like 5 or 6 hour audiobook, so not very long. And then I am going to pick up on ebook either 7 Days of Us or There's Something About Sweetie. Both of them I want to get done this week. I'm doing the 7 Days of Us instead of Puddin' for the red book challenge. I will put a picture up because I don't have it physically here, but I have both of those on ebook as well as physically. And so I'm going to pick one of those up while I'm sitting here, and I'm not sure which. And that's really it as far as reading goes. As far as like life goes, we are trying a third tactic, I guess, with my daughter on the whole potty thing. And I'm saying this just because I want to remember the spunk and will this child has. So we potty trained, she did great, and then, you know, she started peeing in her pants because she realized, okay, I've got this. If I do it, if I can pee, I can get more characters. So she started doing that. And then I made the sticker chart. So that has worked for 3 days or whatever it's been. She's gotten some books, she's gotten some stickers. That's really fun. But it's still not as fun as continuing to play and skipping a potty break. So then today what I did after her second or third pair of wet panties, I said, well, sorry, we can't go back outside because we're all out of panties. And so I made her go commando until nap time. And that worked for now. So this child, like when I told her we were all out of panties, she said, well, just go do some laundry. And I'm like, that is not how it works, kid. And tonight she wanted pancakes for dinner, and that's not what we had. And so she said, well, just go to grocery pickup. And then, yeah, she is very, she knows what she wants, and she likes to talk about it. So she's strong-willed, and I love that about her, and I think it's so fun, and I think parenting her will become increasingly interesting. So that's the plan for the rest of the night. I'm going to go read until bedtime and then read some more and then maybe finish Becoming by Michelle Obama, the Netflix documentary or whatever you call it, because I cut myself off after a little over an hour last night. So still need to finish that. So I will check in later. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday at almost 11, and I'm just getting on to let you know that I finished Unglued by Lisa Turkurst. And this book is really hard to do in a readathon because it's one that you really want to take your time and kind of unpack, but I gave it 3.5 stars. I think this book, the premise is about, this says making wise choices in the midst of raw emotions. And so it talks about 4 different kinds of becoming unglued. There's the exploder and the stuffer. And so within the exploder, there's the exploder who blames herself. So that's when you like lose your cool and then feel terrible about yourself. The exploder who blames others. And so that's when you're like angry with somebody else because they made you do it. And then there's the stuffer who builds barriers. And she talks a lot about the difference between barriers and boundaries and how barriers are typically like you don't tell people that you're building this barrier. You just kind of push them out of your life. And then there's stuffers who collect retaliation points. And this one is very, very, very common in marriages. And I see it a lot in my own marriage where it's like you don't say anything when something upsets you, and then all of a sudden you explode and you bring up 1.5 million reasons why you're right, the other person's wrong, and you just explode. And so those are the 4 types of becoming unglued. Then she goes on to talk more about, I just spent forever writing my Goodreads review, so I won't go into too much detail. You can go there and look at it if you want, but just key points. She talked a lot about how like different triggers that can lead you to becoming unglued, and she talks about like jealousy and comparison and negative self-talk, and I thought all of those are very nice and applicable and easy to understand. And she's very practical, and Lisa Terkurst in general, if you are into Christian nonfiction and want some self-help stuff, she is a very good author because she's very rarely preachy. She's been through a lot, and she gives a lot of practical advice. And so she gives a procedure manual for keeping your cool, and she talks about 5 different steps there. And then she gives you like 3 questions to ask yourself when somebody else hurts you, to kind of see like, are you just making assumptions, that kind of thing. And overall, I thought this book was really good. The reason I gave it 3.5 stars is because, like, she herself says that depending on the context, she can be all 4 types, both types of exploders and both types of stuffers. And I can kind of relate to that. I'm definitely more of a stuffer, but I can relate to that. And so it just felt very big. It's like you need to basically adopt all of these principles for how to change things. And it just, like, I feel like the topic was just very hard to write about because since it is so situational, it's hard to embody them all, I guess. For me, the best, like the stuffer ones were the most helpful, especially because those are the ones that I see like in my daily life, in my marriage and that kind of stuff. And so that was the most helpful, but overall this book was pretty good. Then I picked up There's Something About Sweetie, and I am like a quarter of the way through it, and so far I'm really liking it. It's about a Indian boy whose parents want him to date an Indian girl, and then this Indian girl named Sweetie, who she is plus size and she is a track star, and like she doesn't see a problem with her size, but her mother and her family does. And so the boy Ashish, I think is maybe his name, his family is trying to hook him up with Sweetie because she's Indian, and her mom and grandma and stuff like bake a whole bunch of Indian stuff, and they're just big into the culture, and so they want to set them up. But then her family says no, basically she's not good enough for him because she's overweight. And I hate that. Like, I'm so disgusted by her family, but so in love with what a rock star she is, because she like is just, she knows her worth regardless of what they say. And I imagine it's hard for her to do that. And like we see some of that with her, like some of the struggle, but for the most part, she is very body positive, and I love reading that. So far I'm enjoying that quite a bit. I'm going to finish that today. Today I'm feeling like garbage, hence the adorable hair and just overall beauty. And because I just woke up at like 3:30 and could not go back to sleep, and I have been having a lot of contractions today, but I think they're all just like tiredness, like my body's just like complaining. And so I don't know. It's already like 11 o'clock. My daughter kind of slept in, and then we have been downstairs. We did yoga. I spent forever in a day trying to do my review and make my notes on this, which is, again, so this readathon, I have picked a 500-page book and a book that I wanted to annotate. So really I'm doing this readathon as smart as I could, right? So yeah, we have done that all morning. And so now she has been asking me to do an exercise tape. And so I'm going to do that, I guess. I don't know. I really don't feel like it, but maybe I'll find a good like yoga or stretching one. And then I'll continue to read during nap time, and that's about it. So I will check in later. Hey everyone, it is Wednesday and it's like 9:30, and I was just gonna get on and let you know yesterday did not go as planned. So right after I filmed my clip, we were gonna do an exercise class, and my daughter ran in and knocked over my coffee onto my computer, and it started flashing black screen with a file folder with a question mark and just flashing that. And so I freaked out, got everything like towels and everything, and then my husband took it apart and tried to dry it, and it was an all-day event just trying to get it to come back on, and thank goodness he did. So that's what we did all morning, and yeah, it was a very stressful day. She was kind of a bull in the china shop yesterday. She did that, and then like managed to knock something over that knocked something over that knocked something over, and knocked over my water just onto the floor, and then hit her head on the rail. Like, it was just a very drama-filled day. So yeah, didn't get really anything fun or interesting done. But even with all the drama of yesterday, I did finish There's Something About Sweetie by Sanjay Menon, and I really liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I loved the body positivity that is reflected in this book. Like, Sweetie is just a badass. She is that, yes, but she is a track star. She's an amazing singer. She's a good friend. She's a loyal daughter. She is just so much. And I love how she didn't let her size stop her from anything. And so I love that. And I loved how Ashish was he could have anybody and had all these model girls, and yet loved her size and loved her curves. And I just love seeing that, because you don't see a lot of body positivity like that at all, let alone in teenagers. And so I loved seeing that. And I also loved learning a little bit more about the Indian culture. I liked seeing both the families, how they interacted, just differences in the ways certain things were handled. Overall, really enjoyed that. And the story was cute. I'm giving it 3.5 because the story itself was nothing like mind-blowing for me, but I love the characters and those additional elements that you don't see very often. One thing I really didn't like, well, two things I really didn't like that are so common is at one point, like Ashish says, "You changed me," and that whole idea of like a girl changing a guy, I just hate that, especially in YA, because it sets up such unrealistic expectations for a girl, a young girl especially, like to go after these bad boys or these playboys or whatever, and just the expectation that they'll be the one to change them. So often it doesn't happen, and I just hate that expectation. I also hate when miscommunication, like deliberate miscommunication, is the reason for the like inevitable bump in the road that happens, and this was like definitely one of those. So 3.5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Loved seeing their relationship grow. It was kind of insta-lovey. I think the whole thing takes place over like a month, but that didn't bother me that much, because in high school it is insta-love. Like, you know, you fall in love quick, or fall in whatever quick, and so I thought that was pretty realistic, and it didn't really bother me. 3.5 stars. Really glad I read it. And I didn't read the first one, and I probably won't read the third one. I knew the characters would win this book for me, and so I really wanted to read it. And I don't think you needed to read the other ones, but if you did, I know like there were some cameos from Dimple and Rishi from the first book, and so I know it would be extra special if you had read the other ones. Yesterday also, I hit 300 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed, everyone who watches. If you're not subscribed, please click subscribe, because that just makes my day so much. 300 feels huge to me, so that is just wonderful. Today we are going to walk over to our friend's house. She lives just a couple blocks away. She's giving us some baby stuff because she has 4 kids and they're done. So they're passing on some baby stuff. And so we're going to walk over there and get that. And then this afternoon, my friend is coming to cut my hair in the driveway, because you'll see like I've got this little bun thing in because my split ends are so bad. And our salons reopened on Monday, May 18th. And like to get in with my normal hairstylist was like June 27th or something ridiculous. And so if my hair's to the point like it's got to be cut, I don't care. I would love to have the full experience of washing and massaging and all that kind of stuff, but a driveway haircut sounds perfect right now. So she's gonna come over and do that, and that's the day. It's finally sunshine, and so I'm really excited to get outside and have some fun. So, as far as reading though, I did pick up Anything for You by Kristin Higgins, which I think is what I was trying to call the 4th one, like the whole time I was reading it. But this is the 5th one in the Blue Heron series. And this one, I had said like I didn't know what it was going to be about, because the Blue Heron series is about 4 siblings, and so they had 4 books, and now who's this one about? Well, this one is about the brother of one of the other character, like the side characters. And so this one, it does kind of like wrap it all up though, because he is with a girl that he has been with off and on for like over a decade, and so it goes back in time, and we get to see all the other characters and like what they were doing at those times. So far I'm really liking this. I'm only about a quarter of the way through it. These read so fast. It's like 400 and something pages, but they read so fast. I will for sure finish it today, so I will get on later and let you know what I think. Hey everyone, it's about 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and I'm just gonna get on and wrap up this vlog because it's ReadORama. I have a little bit of extra content in this vlog, and so I'm splitting it into two so it's not super long. I inserted some clips of what we did this morning. We went and walked over to my friend's house and got the stuff for the baby, and she also threw in a Minnie Mouse vacuum cleaner for my daughter, and so that was super fun and exciting. And then we came back and we did sidewalk chalk. We played in the backyard. We went dandelion hunting. We did all sorts of things, and then it started getting cloudy, and so we came inside and played matching games and did coloring pages. She is very into princesses right now, and I love Belle the best, so we did Beauty and the Beast coloring pages and just all the things. And then we sat down and I was reading my book and she was reading her books, and it was like self-entertainment and it was silent. And so I was like, I don't want to stop this for lunch. Like, I just wanted to keep riding it out because that never happens. And so of course it happens on a day where my friend was going to come over and cut my hair at 1:15, but I like didn't want to stop and make lunch. And so I texted her and was like, hey, can we do this another day? And so she's gonna come on Friday to cut my hair. So my hair is still looking luxurious. And so anyway, we did so much this morning. I thought maybe we would get great naps, and she didn't nap at all. But while she was not napping, I was in my room and I read Anything for You by Kristin Higgins. And I'm about 85% of the way through this. So I'm gonna hold off on my final thoughts, but this one is about Connor, who is the brother of Colleen from an earlier book. And Connor is a chef. He owns the restaurant in Blue Heron, or in the town called O'Rourke's. And he is in love with this girl named Jessica. And in the very beginning, he proposes and she says no. And Jessica just has a lot going on in her life. She is in charge of her adult brother, who had fetal alcohol syndrome, and so he is severely disabled. And her mom was an alcoholic. And so she has just kind of always been in charge, and her dad's been in and out of their lives. So she just has a lot going on. And so it's their relationship through time and kind of how they work through different things. It's a lot of back and forth, honestly kind of boring. It's a little over 400 pages and I'm ready to be done with it. So I will give my final thoughts in the next set of vlogs. So if you have watched this much so far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of the books I read. Let me know if you are participating in ReadORama. And that's it. We will see you tomorrow for round 2.